Hello there, my very good friends, and welcome to this rare, lesser-spotted after-news video. What a treat for you all. I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
And I'm Phil, also from WhatCulture, obviously.
Aye, and we're going to talk about Phil, not from WhatCulture.
Hey.
Phil Brooks, CM Punk. The internet be a punkin' today. A saga is kind of unfolding here. Now,
Another one.
Yeah, they never end, do they? You might have seen the first part of this, but I'm going to go through it anyway, just in case you haven't. So, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted yesterday about Dax Harwood. I'll just read that tweet. Dax Harwood tells FightfulSelect.com that in his recent conversations with CM Punk, Punk has said that reading Steve Kern's book has made him miss wrestling. Now, Punk went over to Instagram in his CM Punk ways and went to an account called the Pro Wrestling Podcast, who had screenshotted this and posted it. And in the comments section, Punk chimed in, great story about Gator. That's Steve Kern, not an actual alligator, by the way. Great story about Gator and Coco fighting in the locker room, and then Lawler drags them into the office the next day and they squash it. Fascinating. Obviously, that is a very clear line between that situation and Punk's own situation at All Out, where he, of course, brawled with the Elite. Steel was there. Larry.
Poor Larry, man.
The victim in all of this.
Door in the face, Larry.
He survived that bump, though, so
He did.
hell of a worker. But yes, obviously he was trying to draw parallels between that, which is an interesting story in itself. But now Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, yeah, he's just reporting that CM Punk wants back in AEW, isn't he? So yeah, he basically said that. He said he's known this for a while, and that the Instagram post certainly indicates it too. But yeah, a bunch of people have apparently known that CM Punk wants to return to AEW. Now the decision is in Tony Khan's hands. So physically, Punk should almost be all ready to go. He, of course, tore his triceps while wrestling Jon Moxley at All Out. So even if he hadn't been suspended indefinitely, he would have been out for a while anyway. So that's an interesting facet of it. But he's physically soon going to be good to go. Are they going to have a conversation? What are Kenny and the Young Bucks going to think? What is Larry going to think? Who the heck knows? What do you think?
Oh, I want this to happen.
Yeah.
I very much want this to happen. And I think it makes sense for AEW for it to happen as well. Like, there is a direct correlation between when Punk left, after all the All Out stuff, and the ratings going down. Like, it genuinely did happen. And it's happened on our Ups and Downs videos for AEW Dynamite. Like, Punk brings eyes to the product, no matter what he's doing. He's like, he can genuinely move the needle and is one of the few people that AEW could bring in or bring back at this point that can, like, they can genuinely say that about. Like, it's there, it's documented, it's proof. He does move the needle, he brings eyes into the product. But more importantly, I just want the chaos back.
Yeah.
It's been, like, wrestling discourse has been a bit boring recently. We've had all the, like, Vince McMahon stuff, but that's starting to quiet down. We need some more chaos back in the wrestling
Need more
world.
fights. That's all we need.
Whatever. So bring him back. Why the hell not? Don't bother squashing any beef. Leave the beef. The beef brings chaos. The beef brings, like, excitement. The beef is stupid. It's definitely not the healthiest way of handling things. But if you have them all hating each other, it's gonna make some entertainment for us. But yeah, like, it should happen if, like, all jokes aside, like, if they can all come together and figure it out and, like, yes, we can work together, we can make a lot of money together, let's do this. The amount of stuff that's left for Punk to do in AEW alone
Colossal.
is worth bringing him back in.
Yeah, it's absolutely colossal. It's like, because when you think about, like, when he came in and who he worked with, obviously he had, like, one-off matches with people like Powerhouse Hobbs and stuff. Like, his big-time feuds, Darby, obviously. Him and MJF went for ages. Moxley.
So good.
Yeah, Hangman. So it's like, it's a short list of people, actually, who he's done, like, concrete storylines with.
Yeah.
So there's loads of fresh stuff still on the board. You could even run the MJF stuff back. I don't know, like, how that would go. But yeah, there's lots of things you could do. Loads of young talent there that you could work with. And then, like, obviously the backstage machinations. What's that word?
Machinations?
Machinations?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say. So I said it 4 times. Those are tricky, right? And I have no idea what Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson think about this.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the AEW locker room thinks about this. But I always say with stuff like this, is like, me, personally, I'm not in that locker room, so I don't really care. I want a good show, and CM Punk gives me a good show. With him, I think it's become very easy for people to attack CM Punk. And look, part of it is deserved, right?
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have said those things at that press conference.
Absolutely not.
Probably shouldn't have done that. And there's, we can talk about who was right and wrong. I think there's both sides both sides.
Everyone was a little bit wrong.
Yeah, and Tony Khan just kind of sitting there and letting this happen. That was a strange move for sure. But yeah, it's become very easy for people to attack Punk for things like that and things like the botches and the slips and stuff. Like, I don't care about stuff like that, but there are a bunch of people who think that a personality trait is mocking people's errors and things like.
Don't know if you know, but wrestling's hard.
Yeah, and people are fallible and
Yeah.
make mistakes. Apart from these people, who obviously are just,
Of course, they're perfect.
They fart rainbows, man. Like, they're flawless. But yeah, so there's that aspect of it too. But when you go back and you just remind yourself of feuds like the caliber of the MJF stuff, it's like, okay, no, he's still world class at this. So I just want him back.
It's a tough one for Tony because you've got a lot of people that you need to please in that locker room, and if it is going to cause issues, like maybe it isn't the wisest move, but they're all grown-ass men. Like, they're adults. Yeah. They can come together.
Yeah.
They can talk this out. They can get through this. And they all know there's a lot of money there on the table. Like, regardless of what they all think of each other, Punk versus the Elite is right there as a huge money storyline. We never got the CM Punk versus Kenny Omega match. The Punk and the FTR versus the Elite that you could go back to. Even if, like, Punk was in as a heel or something, like and then there's a different way that you can run with the Punk thing and going up against loads of people on the roster, like a Jungle Boy or something like that. You've got Punk versus Malachi Black or something would be incredible.
That'd be sick,
or
actually.
Punk and the FTR versus the House of Black if you're doing like Punk in a little trios run or whatever. Like, there's a lot on the table still to do within AEW. And they should, Tony should do whatever he can to make this happen. And if that means sitting them all in a room and saying, look, here we are, we're not leaving until we've figured this out, and we can all, if not be friends, but at least work together and cooperate to create a load of money for the company, you should absolutely do this.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, obviously complex personal dynamics are what they are. We're not privy to that information, but if there's a way to make it happen, brother. Punk versus Omega, headlining a pay-per-view, oh my god, informed by the real life drama, would be so sensational. They could get really snippy and snipey with each other in the promos.
Yeah.
It would be so sick across the board. And yeah, I really hope there's a way this can happen, man. I think that it's quite interesting to think, the Young Bucks and Omega, their contracts are up this year, right? So if this is a big decision that upsets them, and they'd be well within their right to be upset by it, by the way, what are they going to do? Might that factor in as something they go, hang on, he's brought this guy back and we hate this guy, we're off?
Yeah.
Or the other way around, maybe they'll be like, oh, we can stay here and make loads of money with this guy. So we might not like him personally, or maybe they do now, I don't know, who knows. But yeah, it certainly seems to me that maybe the wind is blowing in the direction of CM Punk coming back.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people won't like that, but hey, we do. So it's cool, we can disagree. Yeah, we can
bring him back, man.
Yeah.
Just for the chaos alone, it'd be so good.
Bring him home.
Remember just being so online after All Out, because it was just hilarious watching that entire story unfold. It was gold.
It was so
I loved
wild.
every minute of it. Bring him back.
Me and Hamflet did the live stream for that, and then we did a couple of videos afterwards, and we were just sitting down at our screens as this press conference was ongoing. So we lived it in real time while we were making videos and stuff. And what a one of a kind meltdown. And I love CM Punk, so I'm not I hate taking sides on stuff like this. I like all of these wrestlers, and I just want them to do cool stuff together.
My side on the All Out thing is everyone was in the wrong.
Yeah, everyone was a bit silly.
You were all kind of assholes.
So,
but let's move past it, shall we?
Exactly. Unsilly yourself and make it happen.
There it is.
Anyway, thanks for joining us on this one. I don't need to ask you to comment because you probably already have. It's a CM Punk story. But yes, thank you so much for your time. You can follow us on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. It's an AEW story, but never mind. You can follow Phil on Twitter at
Phil My Chambers, and you can follow Andy
at Andy H Murray. The H stands for the eel. Goodbye.
The eel.
Heel.
Bye.
The eel with no T. There you go.